The religious and historical evolution of India before the arrival of Islam, focusing on the development of key beliefs and spiritual practices that shaped Indian civilization. 1. Indus Valley Civilization, c. 3300–1300 BCE. The Indus Valley Civilization, IVC, flourished along the Indus River in modern-day Pakistan and northwest India. Archaeological evidence, such as seals and figurines, suggests early religious practices, including reverence for natural elements, trees, animals, and a mother goddess figure. The presence of certain symbols, like the swastika and motifs resembling Shiva-like figures in meditative postures, indicates Proto-Hindu influences. 2. The Vedic period, c. 1500–500 BCE. The Vedic period began with the migration of Indo-Aryan tribes into the Indian subcontinent, bringing early forms of what would later become Hinduism. The Vedas, composed during this period, are among the oldest sacred texts, containing hymns, rituals, and philosophical ideas. Worship centered on natural deities like Agni, fire, Indra, war and rain, and Varuna, cosmic order, and sacrifices were conducted by Brahmins, priests. The Vedic society evolved with a caste system that divided people into four main classes: Brahmins, priests, Kshatriyas, warriors, Vaishyas, traders, and Shudras, servants. 3. The rise of Jainism and Buddhism, circa 6th century BCE. Around 600 BCE, urbanization and social changes led to the questioning of Vedic rituals, inspiring spiritual reform movements. Jainism was founded by Mahavira, who emphasized ahimsa, non-violence, karma, and asceticism. Jainism rejected the Vedic priesthood, caste system, and promoted a life of simplicity. Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, who advocated the middle path, avoiding extremes of indulgence and asceticism. Buddha's teachings, including the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, offered a path to enlightenment without reliance on Vedic rituals. Both religions gained significant followers and led to a decline in ritualistic Vedic practices, as they emphasized ethical living, non-violence, and personal spiritual development. 4. The Maurya Empire and Ashoka's embrace of Buddhism, c. 322–185 BCE. The Maurya Empire, established by Chandragupta Maurya, unified most of India for the first time. Ashoka, Chandragupta's grandson, initially a warrior, converted to Buddhism after witnessing the suffering of war, particularly in the bloody Kalinga War. Ashoka promoted Buddhism across his empire and beyond, sending missionaries to Sri Lanka and Central Asia. His edicts, carved on pillars and rocks, advocated ethical governance, tolerance of all religions, and non-violence. 5. The rise of Hinduism and the Gupta Empire, c. 320–550 CE. After the Mauryan period, Hinduism became more prominent, evolving from earlier Vedic traditions into a complex system of beliefs, worship of deities, and philosophical schools. During the Gupta Empire, Hinduism flourished and was seen as a unifying cultural force. Temples dedicated to Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi, the goddess, became central to religious life. Key texts like the Mahabharata, Ramayana, and the Puranas were refined during this time, promoting values and stories that remain foundational to Hindu beliefs. The Gupta period also saw the development of 6 major schools of Hindu philosophy, darshanas, including Vedanta, Samkhya, and Yoga, which explored metaphysics, ethics, and methods for spiritual liberation, moksha. 6. The influence of Bhakti and devotional movements, circa 5th–8th century CE. As Hinduism spread, Bhakti, devotional, movements emerged, emphasizing personal devotion to a deity as a means of attaining spiritual grace. This approach made spirituality accessible to all, regardless of caste or gender, and laid the groundwork for popular forms of worship that are still practiced. Bhakti movements particularly centered around the worship of Vishnu, Shiva, and Shakti, the goddess, with famous saints and poets spreading messages of love and surrender to God. 7. South Indian dynasties and the spread of Hinduism and Buddhism, circa 3rd century BCE, 9th century CE. In the south, kingdoms like the Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas flourished, contributing significantly to religious development. The Chola dynasty, for example, was known for building grand temples like the Brihadiswara temple and promoting Shaivism, worship of Shiva. Hindu and Buddhist ideas spread to Southeast Asia via South Indian trade routes, significantly influencing the art, architecture, and religions of Thailand, Cambodia, and Indonesia. 8. Early contacts with West Asia and religious diversity, circa 1st century CE 7th century CE. Through trade and cultural exchange, India interacted with Persia, Greece, and Rome, leading to the presence of Zoroastrianism and early Christianity in India, particularly on the Malabar coast. Jewish communities also settled in places like Kerala, creating a unique blend of religious diversity in India before Islam's arrival. Summary of pre-Islamic Indian religion. Hinduism evolved from Vedic traditions and became a dominant religious framework, with concepts of dharma, duty, karma, and moksha. It included a vast pantheon of deities, philosophical schools, and spiritual practices. Jainism emphasized strict non-violence, karma, and self-discipline, rejecting the caste system and focusing on liberation through ethical conduct. Buddhism offered a path to enlightenment through ethical living and mental discipline, focusing on inner transformation rather than rituals. Other influences, smaller communities of Jews, Christians, and Zoroastrians also contributed to India's spiritual diversity. In summary, pre-Islamic India was marked by a rich tapestry of religious traditions that laid a foundation for its future as a diverse and pluralistic society. Each religion influenced the region's art, literature, philosophy, and way of life, creating a unique civilization that would continue to evolve in subsequent centuries.